Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive? You know we love tackling those thought-provoking topics, and this one comes straight from you.
That's right, straight from the Algo Academy blog, which someone sent in. And it's all about why feeling completely lost when you're coding could actually be a good thing.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, wait, what? So we had to get you in here to break this down because let's be honest, we've all been there, staring at a screen full of code, feeling like we're in over our heads.
Absolutely. The blog starts off by talking about those coding challenges, the kind that really make you think.
The ones that make you question your career choices.
Exactly. But see, there's a method to the madness. Those challenges are designed to be tough. They're meant to push you beyond that comfortable zone, forcing you to use those problem-solving muscles.
To think algorithmically, right? Like it's not just about memorizing syntax.
Exactly. And the blog connects this to the idea of learning zones.
Mm,
You got the comfort zone, the panic zone, and then the sweet spot in between.
the learning zone.
Exactly.
So you're saying that feeling lost could actually be a sign that we're right where we need to be to learn and grow.
That's exactly what the blog is arguing.
Hmm.
And they go even further. They actually list 5 benefits of feeling lost while you're coding. 5 reasons why this might actually make you a better programmer.
5. Okay, you've got my attention. I'm ready to hear this.
Okay, so number 1, deep learning. When you hit a wall and you're forced to dig deeper, that's when the real learning kicks in. You're looking at the problem from different angles, breaking it down, connecting new information to what you already know.
So it's not just skimming the surface. You're really wrestling with the concepts.
You got it. And that leads to better understanding, better retention. You really internalize it.
Okay, so benefit number 1 is deep learning. But I'm curious, how does feeling stuck lead to more creative solutions?
This is where it gets interesting. The blog says when you're stuck and your usual bag of tricks isn't working, that's when you're forced to think outside the box to come up with innovative approaches.
So it's like that aha moment where you have to shift your perspective completely to solve a riddle.
Right. It's in those moments of lostness that you might discover a new way to approach things, to challenge conventional thinking, to even come up with something groundbreaking.
Okay, I'm starting to see the light here. What's next on this list of lost coder benefits?
This one's all about resilience. Each time you push through that feeling of being lost and finally crack the code, you're building that mental toughness. You're reinforcing the belief that you can overcome challenges.
That makes sense, especially in coding. You're constantly facing new puzzles, new roadblocks.
It's like training your brain to say, bring it on. You develop that grit, that persistence that separates the good coders from the great ones.
All right, 2 down, 3 to go. What's next?
This one might be the most important for any coder, and it's independent learning. Think about it when you're stuck. You're driven to find your own way out. You're diving into documentation, you're scouring those forums, you're experimenting and getting comfortable asking for help.
So basically, you're becoming a self-sufficient coding ninja.
Exactly. And those skills, researching effectively, debugging on your own, and knowing how to ask the right questions, those are invaluable throughout your coding journey.
Okay, so far, feeling lost leads to deeper learning, sparks creativity, builds resilience, and helps us become independent learners. What's the 5th benefit?
This one's all about developing your problem-solving prowess. It's about building that toolkit of strategies for tackling the unknown. You start breaking down problems systematically, searching for patterns, recognizing approaches you've used before.
So it's like building that mental library of solutions, of ways to approach things that you can pull from in new situations.
That's the idea. You start to recognize those patterns, and along the way, you get better at using those debugging tools, a crucial skill for any programmer.
Okay, 5 solid benefits. Deep learning, creative problem solving, resilience, independent learning, and becoming a problem solving pro. But I need more than just theory. Do you have any real world examples of how feeling lost has actually led to breakthroughs in coding?
Oh, I've got some great ones. Did you know the quicksort algorithm, one of the most efficient sorting algorithms ever, was born out of feeling lost?
You're kidding. I use Quicksort all the time, but I had no idea.
Back in the day, a computer scientist named Tony Hoare was working on machine translation, specifically for the Russian language. He needed a fast way to sort all those Russian words, and existing methods just weren't cutting it.
So even coding geniuses get stuck.
They do. And that frustration led Hoare to a breakthrough, the quicksort algorithm, which is still widely used today.
That's amazing. The algorithm that helps power everything from sorting data to language translation, all because someone felt stuck. I love it. Do you have another example?
Oh yeah, Git, the backbone of version control.
No way.
Oh yeah. Linus Torvalds, the creator of Linux, he was facing a huge challenge. The Linux kernel development was getting super complex, hundreds of developers contributing code from all over the place.
What a logistical nightmare.
It was. The existing version control systems couldn't handle it. Torvalds felt lost, overwhelmed, and decided to create his own solution.
And that's how Git was born.
Exactly. Git was built to handle that complexity, and it revolutionized software development.
Wow. Feeling lost leading to game-changing tools. Inspiring. But let's bring it back to the everyday coder. What about something like recursion?
Recursion, yeah, it's a classic. It often trips people up when they're first learning. But the blog points out that once you work through that initial confusion, there's a huge aha moment.
Yeah, like seeing the pattern in a complex puzzle.
Right. And it usually comes after a period of feeling lost, like with the factorial function, that classic example.
Oh, I remember staring at that code feeling utterly clueless.
But once you understand how it works, how the function calls itself, breaks the problem down, and then resolves, it's a real breakthrough.
This has totally changed my perspective. Feeling lost isn't about being a bad programmer.
It's a sign your brain is stretching and making new connections.
I like that. It's a good thing. Well, we covered a lot in this first part, from understanding these challenges to seeing the benefits of feeling lost. But we need some practical advice. How do we actually navigate these moments? I think that's what we need to tackle next.
Welcome back.
So we've established that feeling lost in the code can actually be beneficial, but let's get real. How do we actually handle it in those moments? It's easy to say embrace the discomfort, but sometimes it's just plain frustrating. You're staring at the screen, no clue what to do next.
Oh, I get it. The Algo Academy blog actually offers some practical strategies, and the first one, it's all about mindset.
Mindset. Okay, so how do we change our thinking about feeling lost?
It starts by recognizing it's normal. It's not a sign of failure. It's a part of learning. So instead of getting frustrated, approach it with curiosity.
So instead of I'm so dumb I'll never figure this out, it's more like, interesting. What do I need to learn here?
Exactly. It's about seeing it as an opportunity to grow. Like, hey, I'm pushing my boundaries.
I like that. It takes the pressure off, so what's the next step?
Break it down. Those complex problems, they can be overwhelming. But if you chop them into smaller, more manageable chunks, it's much less daunting.
Like those cooking shows where they break down a complicated recipe into simple steps.
Perfect analogy. When you're looking at a massive coding challenge, break it down. Make it less intimidating.
Do you have a specific example?
Sure, like reversing a linked list. It can be tricky.
Yeah.
But instead of tackling the whole thing at once, break it down. Understand how a linked list works. Visualize the reversal, maybe draw it out, then implement it step by step.
So it's like creating a roadmap, turning a mountain into smaller, climbable hills.
You got it. Breaking it down gives you a clear path forward.
Okay, breaking it down. Got it. What else can we do when we're feeling lost?
Plan your attack.
All right.
The blog suggests using pseudocode.
Pseudocode. So not actual code, but a way to plan it out.
Right. You're basically outlining the logic before you write any real code, like creating a blueprint.
So like sketching out your ideas before you start painting.
Exactly. It helps you clarify your thinking, make sure your logic is sound.
I can see how that would be helpful. Any examples of how pseudocode works?
Sure. Let's say you're sorting a list of numbers. Before you jump into the actual code, you'd outline those steps in pseudocode. First, compare these two numbers. If they're in the wrong order, swap them, then move to the next pair.
So it's like a recipe for your code.
Yes. And you don't have to worry about perfect syntax or specific keywords at this stage, just pure logic.
Okay, pseudocode, noted. What's next on the list?
This one might sound funny, but talk it out. It's called rubber duck debugging.
Rubber duck debugging. Okay, I'm intrigued.
You literally explain the problem out loud, as if you were talking to someone, or even an object.
So I can talk to my rubber duck about my code.
Absolutely. You'd be surprised how often just saying it out loud helps you see things more clearly.
Like when you're explaining something to someone and suddenly you understand it better yourself?
Exactly. You might spot an error you missed or realize there's a flaw in your logic.
I kind of already talk to myself when I'm coding, so I guess I'm doing something, right?
Well, there you go. And hey, if talking to yourself feels weird, grab that rubber duck, or any object, really.
All right, I'm willing to give it a try. What else have we got?
This one's crucial. Take breaks.
Wait, so stepping away from the screen can actually help.
Sometimes the best way to solve a problem is to give your brain a rest. Let it process in the background.
Like when you can't remember a word and then it pops into your head hours later.
That's it. When you're too focused, you get stuck in a mental rut. Step away, do something else, and when you come back, you'll often see things with fresh eyes.
So it's like hitting the reset button on your brain. I can get behind that. What's the final strategy?
This one is about knowing when and how to ask for help. Strategically, of course.
So not just copying and pasting someone else's solution, but actually understanding it.
Right. Use those amazing resources available, documentation, forums like Stack Overflow, even mentors. The key is to learn from the solutions, not just blindly copy them.
Oh, I've been guilty of that. Just copy pasting without really understanding what's happening.
We've all been there. But when you break down a solution, understand the logic, connect it to your problem, that's true learning.
It's about turning help seeking into a learning opportunity.
Exactly. And ask the right questions. Don't just say, help, my code's broken. Explain what you've tried, what you think the issue might be. Be specific.
Show you've put in the effort, that you're genuinely trying to learn.
Right. And you'll get much more valuable insights.
This is really changing how I think about feeling lost. It's not a bad thing.
It's about being in that learning zone where growth happens.
I like that. And with these strategies, embracing the discomfort, breaking it down, pseudocode, talking it out, taking breaks, and asking for help the right way, those moments of confusion can become opportunities.
Exactly. Stepping stones, not roadblocks.
This has been super helpful. I'm feeling much better equipped to handle those lost moments.
I'm glad to hear that. And speaking of feeling lost and how to turn it into a positive, in the last part of our dive, we'll explore how platforms like Algo Academy use this idea to actually create effective learning experiences.
Okay, so we've covered the benefits of feeling lost and those awesome strategies to deal with it. But I'm curious about platforms like Algo Academy. The blog mentioned how they can help when you're feeling, well, lost in the code.
Yeah, they're interesting because they actually use that feeling of being lost to help you learn.
Really? Okay, how does that work?
Well, they often have those structured learning paths, starting with the basics and gradually introducing more and more complex concepts.
So it's like a guided tour, starting with familiar territory and venturing deeper as you go.
Exactly. And they offer a safe environment where you can try things out, mess up, and learn from those mistakes without worrying about breaking everything.
Oh, I've definitely had my share of coding disasters. It's nice to have that safety net, you know?
Absolutely. And many of them are incorporating AI assistants now, too.
Oh, AI tutors.
Yeah. Like, imagine having a virtual mentor who can give you hints when you're stuck,
Yeah.
but doesn't just give you the whole answer.
So it's like a little nudge in the right direction when you're feeling lost, encouraging you to figure it out yourself.
That's the key. It's about finding that balance between support and challenge. Enough support so you don't get too frustrated, but enough challenge to make you really learn.
It's a delicate balance, right? Too much help and you don't learn, too little and you just give up.
And a lot of these platforms also have a strong community aspect.
Oh, so you're not alone in those lost moments. You can connect with others going through the same thing.
Exactly. They usually have forums or discussion boards where people can share their struggles, ask questions, collaborate.
That's so important because in coding, it's easy to feel isolated when you're stuck.
It really is. Knowing you're not alone makes a big difference. Plus, those platforms are usually packed with resources, tutorials, articles, explanations, all designed to help you grasp those tough concepts.
It's like having a whole coding library at your fingertips.
Exactly. So even when you're lost, you've got everything you need to keep going.
This is making me want to revisit some of those coding challenges that I gave up on.
You should. Remember, feeling lost is a part of the journey. It's where the real growth happens.
Well, I think this has been an amazing deep dive. We started by talking about how tough coding challenges are actually designed to make us better. Then we learned about all the incredible benefits of feeling lost. And we even got some practical strategies for navigating those moments.
And we wrapped it up by seeing how platforms like Algo Academy can actually leverage that feeling of being lost to create effective learning experiences.
It all comes back to shifting our perspective, right? Seeing those moments of confusion as opportunities for growth, for innovation.
Because it's in those moments that we push our boundaries and discover what we're truly capable of.
So to all the coders out there, embrace those lost moments. Don't give up. Keep experimenting, keep learning, and keep pushing those boundaries. Until next time, happy coding, everyone.